Hey y'all, my name's Erin. Hello, nice to meet you. Alright, let's jump right into this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. If you are interested in me and my shenanigans, go ahead and check out my information in the description below. My clothing brands, go ahead and shop those, and my Instagram's on there as well. Alright y'all, so today, I got the scoop. Alright, so this is for all the homies out there. All the homies out there who finna be getting a little retail job at this place I call TJ Maxx. Alright, if you have seen my previous videos and couldn't tell that I worked at TJ Maxx, I'm surprised. Well, here is the video that y'all have been waiting for. Yes, I worked at TJ Maxx. I worked at TJ Maxx for 3 years. I worked at 2 different locations, one in Michigan and one in California, in LA. And y'all, I don't know if it's worth it. Alright, so I'm gonna just go from the beginning. And y'all can see if y'all think that TJ Maxx is good enough to still work at. I don't know. So I got a job at TJ Maxx in 2016 in Michigan, and it was cool. People were cool. Everybody was real nice. I got a position to work up front at the cash registers. When I first started, they were kind of putting me up front, on the floor, everywhere else. Cool. They would have me work in jewelry. Sometimes they would have me at home, all that kind of stuff. They eventually saw that I was, like, I guess, energetic and engaging and things, so they put me up front, and they mostly had me up front doing stuff. So I was up front, you know, doing my thing, getting some experience, learning different things, and they finally kind of introduced me to the TJX Rewards credit card. Oh my god. Okay, so at first it was cool. I was like, okay. They were like, you know, like training me on the benefits of the card, and I was like, cool, this is great. And then eventually it got stupid. They track how many cards they get in a day, in a week, and they try to make weekly goals, and they don't be making it, and it's just like, I was feeling like I was in a cult of signing people up for credit cards. That's where if you haven't seen my videos on selling retail credit cards, I've been around the block. I've got some experience on that. God, man. You would have to get talked to if you didn't get enough credit cards. You get candy if you got credit. Like the rewards weren't popping like they should have been. In the Michigan store, the rewards were better than the store that I came to in LA. Okay, the rewards were cool. You would sometimes get gift cards and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is what's up. Like, we made there was one time we made a goal. We got money from the district, TJ Maxx, whatever, and so we went and had a bowling party. That was really cool. Yeah, so it was a little bit, it was cooler in Michigan, the Michigan TJ Maxx that I was working at. And so eventually I moved up in like 6 months to like it's called a CEC, a customer experience coordinator. So I was like supervising like the cashiers. I was basically the middleman between the cashiers and management. So I would give management information and updates on how people are doing, and they would kind of just talk to me to talk to cashiers. So yeah, I was basically that. And so like if there were any customer issues that I could solve before it got to management, then I would do that kind of stuff, like marking things down. If you can't tell, I'm just always shaking my head like, man, like that's probably the biggest drag, is getting those credit cards. Especially if you're just starting out, good luck, because they gonna be on you to get them credit cards. TJ Maxx, Marshall, Home Goods, it don't matter. They gonna be on you to get them little credit cards. It gets so crazy to the point where like they'll, like when you're ringing somebody up, they'll be like behind you, like this far away, like listening to what you're saying to them, to like tell you like what you need to be saying and what you're doing wrong, what you're not doing, or what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, like whatever. They're saying all that, and they're just listening. Like they gotta make sure that they listen to hear like that you're mentioning the credit card every transaction and giving the benefits, and it's just like, God. And the thing was, the credit card really has no benefits. it really doesn't have any benefits. It's like you spend $200, you get $10 back. I'm like, what's the point? You can't even do nothing with this card, okay? So it was hard enough to try and get people to sign up for the credit card, but then it was even harder because there's such fluffy benefits that it's like there's nothing hardcore, like, yeah, you get this, you can do this with it. Like, it was hard to be confident on expressing the benefits of the card because there really weren't any. So I feel like I got really good at trying to make things sound enticing that weren't enticing. So that's why I made my previous videos on selling credit cards and the skit and everything else. If you haven't seen those, check those out, link in the description or someplace up here. If you're just starting out there and you want to move up, good luck, because they're going to be on you for them credit cards. God, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. So it's even hard because when you're sitting there up front all day, every week, like you're sitting there expected to get this amount of credit cards, and then it's hard to call people off the floor because then they're expected to get credit cards. They don't want to come up. Like, if it feels like you don't have real support because they don't want to be put in a situation where they have to end up sitting there being put to the test to get credit cards, and they're just trying to be in men's, or they're trying to do their work in home or in jewelry. My Michigan store was definitely, it was great actually. The people were great. The atmosphere was great. That was like a very singing store. Like, the men's coordinator, his name was Maurice. Hey, Mr. Maurice. He was dressed to the nines. He would like always have his fit looking good. Like, I love coming to work and being like, what he wearing today? I loved it. Like, he was always funky. He was dancing. He was singing. He would be sitting there serenading the customers, and they'd be like, oh, look. I'd be like, yo, stop serenading the customer. Like, it was a good atmosphere. Like, one of my managers, she would always be singing and dancing to the music. Like, I'd be like, oh my god. So that was a good store to start off with, definitely, like, hands down. Started there in 2016, then I moved to California, LA in 2018. Then I was going around looking for TJ Maxx's to work at, and I found one, and that was probably the worst mistake of my life. I'm not gonna call out who it was, but or what store it was, but oh god, it was trifling. It was the whole opposite 180 of my nice little Battle Creek happy store. It was the very opposite from my Battle Creek, Michigan, singing and dancing, having a good time, no stress, but still, you know, credit card stress store. The Michigan store that I worked at, people were motivated, they worked, they got up, they did what they had to do, they busted tail, like they did their thing, like we was getting stuff done, we was moving, all that. When I moved to the store in LA, everybody's slow, nobody's motivated, nobody's doing nothing, like, and I was just like, what in the world? Where did I just come to? Because I would think LA would be better than freaking, or more, you know, engaged and energetic than Michigan. But now I was like, dang, I'm trying to go back to Michigan. Horrible store, horrible management. They didn't know what they was doing. The store manager, she would try and get me in trouble as a transfer, and I'm like, why? Like, I kid you not, every day I went there I was depressed. I was sad, just hated it. Like, the credit cards were too much. She would get me in trouble for the credit cards, tried to write me up because I wasn't getting enough. People were slothful, people were dirty, the store was dirty, nobody had a drive or work ethic. It wasn't a happy store, like people was just there. The store environment that you're in has everything to do with your performance and then the performance of the store. That store was underperforming. The store manager, she was the worst. I was just like, how do you run you don't know how to run a store. Because if you did, the store wouldn't be looking like this. And people who worked there for a while, they had known that the store was way better before until she got to the store. And I was like, why is she still here though? And the incentives, like when they would push their credit cards, the incentives weren't as good as my old store. The old store, they was doing some stuff. This store, they were like, oh, here's a candy bar. I'm like, we is freaking grown, and you trying to sit here and give me a candy bar? Like, that's the thing. It's like, you don't get commissions. You don't get anything from selling a credit card. Pushing everything you have into this credit card, you don't get anything. You get a candy bar that's gone in 5 minutes. I don't even like candy, so I was like, what is the freaking point? So there's no real incentives to push in the stuff. People would hate to come up. Like, you would have to call management 10 times to have them come up. You would have to call back up 10 times. Like, there were so many days where I would be sitting there at the front, the only person bringing people up, and I'm like, I need help. I keep calling for help and nobody's helping me. And people on the line are getting frustrated and people are like, dang, like, where's your help? And I'm like, that's a great question. That is a great question. The management was poor. So poor. The management was so bad. I think that's one thing that today it can't be like this with all the brick and mortar stores going out of business and people shifting more online. You need to really give people an experience they can remember and be like, you know what, I want to go to TJ Maxx. I want to go and have a good experience. And that just wasn't that store's priority. Like, the theft was horrible. I'm like, I was used to theft. Like, people would ask me like, oh, is the LA store, is this LA store here different from the people in your Michigan store? And I was like, no, it's the same crazy customers, theft, like, okay, like, it's the same thing, like, it's nothing really different. But they would think like, oh, you're from like a smaller place, like maybe you don't know about this stuff. And I'm like, no, I do. And people would leave stuff everywhere, wouldn't take care of their stuff. I think the funniest thing, if you would ask me, the funniest thing that I've ever encountered, or the craziest thing that I've ever encountered at TJ Maxx, is the one in LA. I was bringing people up, and then somebody else was bringing some people up down the way, and this cashier comes over, she's like, hey, these people want a gift card for $5,000. And I was like, And nobody has ever like sat there, and nobody ever does that. Nobody buys a gift card for $5,000, like, hello. So I guess it was for some charity event or something like that, but I was like, that's not up to me. I was like, call management. And so this is how poor the management was. So she called management. The guy comes up front. He, I guess, checks over stuff. And I guess he ends up bringing up $5,000 worth of gift cards. I think a gift card only does like $100 for TJ Maxx. I'm pretty sure, or $250, something like that. So he bring up all these gift cards worth $5,000. And so I guess they pay for it and they leave or something like that. But I think he actually wanted to call the store manager after doing it. I'm like, why wouldn't you call her before doing it? And I was like, that's insane. And so they were there, the people were there, like, you know, waiting for the gift cards for a minute. And I was like, dang, I'm like, I don't know if I would have done all that. And lo and behold, the next freaking week, he was gone. That manager was gone. Like, the store manager got rid of him, and we all knew it. Yeah, I guess he said that he was going back to school. And we were like, no, man, we know. We know the store manager, we know you. Like, you got. Like, they was like, what is you doing? But I was like, that's crazy. Like, he really sat here and rang up $5,000 worth of gift cards. And I'm like, I'm glad that wasn't on me, because I would have been like mad. Like, no, like that's crazy. So, oh, and then another one, I mean, you have scammers all the time, like trying to come through TJ Maxx and stuff. And there was this other one where this couple, this white lady and this black dude, they came through with like a bunch of stuff. I think it was like closer to the end of the night. They came through with like a bunch of stuff, and we was like, oh, they finna be shopping. I was like, okay. And so when they use their credit card, we had to end up seeing their ID with their credit card. Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think so, yeah. And so the chick whips out her credit card, and it's some completely different, or she whips out her ID, and it's some completely different person. And we're all sitting there like, oh, okay, they stole somebody freaking person trying to rack up their credit card to go have a little TJ Maxx shopping spree. And we like, oh, okay, we see. And we denied we denied it. Like, we were like, no, like, this isn't the same person. Like, you are not this chick. I think it was a black chick on the ID. We were like, you are, no. No, this is not you. Like, no, this is not you. And so typically what people do when they're doing something stupid is they go outside like, okay, I'll go get something else, and they never come back. That's funny. But yeah, you can have some really, really wild times at TJ Maxx, I will say, between people stealing and having a customer service them, which means you'd be nice, like, oh, you need a car, like, you need some this or that, or let me know if you need any help, whatever. Between doing that and between just hassling people for credit cards, that's really it. Long story short, I just feel like my time at TJ Maxx, I really did gain an understanding for people who do work in customer service. So I'm like, after working at TJ Maxx, I'm even more kind to customer service people. and like waitresses, people just work face to face with people, I'm so much more kind. I mean, I always was, but now I'm just like so much more patient, so much more kind, because I know what you're going through, and I have worked with people who are impatient. TJ Maxx also, you get everybody. It's not like sitting there working at Louis Vuitton. You don't have just everybody coming into Louis Vuitton, whatever his name is. You don't have everybody going into there, but you have everybody coming to TJ Maxx. So you get everybody. You get the entitled rich people, you get the crazy people, like you get everybody. You have to learn how to adapt to shifting and being around everybody, I guess. That's what I want to say. Overall, looking at my 3 years at TJ Maxx, I liked the first 2 years. I liked when I was in Michigan at TJ Maxx. It was a better atmosphere regardless, but I think especially me being a CEC, customer experience coordinator, being up front, it got really tiring because you're sitting there doing the same thing over and over and over again. So you'd be sitting there like trying to escape to the back or escape someplace else, like I want to go someplace and do something different. Like you're just sitting there, standing there, and you're like waiting for customers. It's just, it gets really tiring having people in your face all day, every day, especially if you work full-time like I did. It's just, you gotta freaking deal with people's attitudes and just different things. Like TJ Maxx having to be seen as like a credit card number, how many credit cards you're getting, and having a hard time trying to get other people motivated to actually either buy the credit card or having your employees be excited to express the benefits to the customers about the credit card, because we gonna keep it real. There's no benefits to the credit card. So for me as a customer experience coordinator, it was hard for me to try and get my employees hype about it, because what are they gonna get hype about? Especially when there's no real incentives to it. I have a newfound appreciation for customer service people. Overall, TJ Maxx was cool for a minute. Your environment is everything. Your store management, your store workers are everything. They make or break your experience. Now don't get me wrong, not everybody at this LA store was horrible. There was a few people that I was like, okay, I can work with you because you actually like do stuff. Alright y'all, I'm about to go. If you like this video, let me know in the comments below and like the video for sure. I'll see y'all next week.